Our story begins in 2015, and Konami have completely killed the Silent Hill franchise dead with the cancellation of Silent Hills because of reasons. But that isn't why we're here. All of that shit, that pales in comparison to what we're here to discuss tonight. There's a far more insidious agenda afoot. Something that needs to be exposed at all costs. An evil that is far more real, far more human, and far more threatening. An admin on the Silent Hill wiki that goes by the name AlexShepherd began his crusade, his quest, to expose the truth. Silent Hill is about mutilated dicks. The Silent Hill wiki is no stranger to some outrageous reaches when it comes to analysing all of the Silent Hill games. It's pretty infamous. Sometimes people will just go massively out of their way to search for symbolism in every tiny little pixel of these games. There's this total inability to just accept that sometimes a thing is just a thing. Because it's fun to speculate and theorise. I'm absolutely guilty of this too, but one incident stands out above all the rest. So it all starts with Silent Hill 4, specifically the page detailing the game's antagonist, Walter Sullivan. One day, an edit appears. Judging by a visit in St. Jerome's Hospital, it is also possible Walter had his genitals, penis, mutilated as a baby via circumcision, also known as male genital mutilation. There are some who theorise and compare circumcision to a dark, ancient, satanic or occult mutilation blood-flesh ritual, as well as being connected to the Illuminati, which could have led to Walter's psyche becoming influenced by the occult of the Order, and when boys become circumcised, it acts as a covenant to the dark forces of the planet and enters a pact with Satan. They also believe it is disguised as a necessary medical practice, and some doctors are satanic or Illuminati puppets. What enters a pact with Satan? The foreskin? So naturally, right off the bat, this guy's come out swinging and he isn't really making a whole lot of sense. He's already showing that he has no real understanding of the occult, not to mention he's using weasel words like "there are some who theorise," but he continues, "Others believe that circumcision can harm the bond between mother and son, and a man's ability to love and bond with women. Circumcision can have an extreme influence on the psyche and have negative effects on the development of the human psyche because a baby's brain is extremely affectable, vulnerable and susceptible to pain. Circumcision can scar a baby for life into adulthood and harm the healthy development of male sexuality. Circumcision can cause permanent brain damage, permanent psychological damage, psychological or brain rewiring, mental illness leading to depression and suicide, trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder, long-term aggravated response to pain, erectile dysfunction, decreased sexual pleasure, the foreskin contains thousands of sexual nerve endings, and death. There have been cases in which circumcised babies die from the extreme pain and blood loss." Somehow, through an insane amount of sheer ignorance, stupidity, lack of common sense and decades of Americans being severely brainwashed, circumcision was carried over to the 20th and early 21st century North America. It took North Americans hundreds of years to realise that mutilating babies' genitals without their consent wasn't such a good idea after all. Then again, it took Americans time to stop killing Native Americans, witch burning, discriminating non-Christians, the non-religious and non-believers, slavery, racism and lynching, female oppression, and LGBT oppression. So issues like male genital mutilation, animal holocaust, genocide in slaughterhouses, mass fluoridation of drinking water, trigger-happy police brutality, wage slavery and wealth inequality would also take time. Strong sentiments indeed. Of course, if you're going to claim these kinds of things, you need proof, right? Like screenshots, from the game. Luckily, Alex has us covered. Even worse, and to add insult to injury to circumcision survivors and victims, The corrupt American and Canadian governments, even in 2015, refused to acknowledge and compensate circumcision victims and survivors, and all of the boys and men who have had their genitals mutilated without their consent and against their will are forced to accept it because the North American governments are so corrupt and barely care about its people. No public apology, no monetary compensation, nothing. Circumcision is now a controversial and serious issue. Many things in the Nightmare Hospital could be interpreted as horrific and traumatic circumcision metaphors and symbols, and a result of a barbaric, torturous and inhumane procedure which should be banned and illegal worldwide. Metaphors and symbols such as bloody forceps in a stretcher, possible phallic penis symbolism, possible anesthesia symbolism, syringes, needles and pills in meat and bloody rags, possible foreskin symbolism, a figure restrained, much like how babies must be restrained. Here we can see possible foreskin symbolism, a giant torso-shaped foreskin, if you will. If you look closely at it though, you can see apparitions, symbolic of a child, crying out for his lost foreskin. There is also the possibility that the greedy worm monster has phallic symbolism, and may be symbolic of a circumcised, mutilated penis. The greedy worm monster appears through many of the worlds in the game, and may be symbolic of a monstrous, circumcised, mutilated penis searching for its missing foreskin, and the despair and horror of never being able to find it and retrieve it. In other words, a man who feels violated and incomplete. Guys, have you seen my foreskin? I am searching for my foreskin. My form is symbolic of my search for my foreskin. In my restless dreams, I see that foreskin. I just want to remind you that this is an article about a fictional murderer in a video game where you play as a cardboard cutout man trapped inside of a haunted apartment. So naturally by now this raises a few penises in the community and people start questioning where exactly all this is coming from. I mean, to say this guy is reaching is a bit of an understatement. Now this also started to leak out of the Silent Hill 4 subsection and into the Silent Hill Homecoming section too, with more tirades on the Illuminati, Satanism, and how by and large Silent Hill, this Japanese series made by Japanese people that modelled the school off of the school they saw in Kindergarten Cop, is actually really a social commentary on how evil and satanic America is. This led to people beginning to question the relevance of any of this to the themes of Silent Hill, with many suggesting that these be moved to a theories section. No one disagrees that genital mutilation is a problem. However, the many paragraphs discussing the possible role of genital mutilation in Walter's profile seems out of place. This information could be included as a theory. The profile should not be used as an opportunity to argue for your view on genital mutilation, regardless of how much evidence you have to support your view. Alex, of course, fervently denies this, assuming that the people disagreeing with his analysis are actually brainwashed sheeple that don't care about the disastrous effects of circumcision. And obviously because no one really agreed with any of this, the moderators then tried to remove the edits, but that just made things worse. I don't quite remember the game being a lunatic anti-male genital mutilation rant, so I figured the article should probably be the same way and remove such. Even if that section is found to be worth keeping, if reinstated it should probably do more than pay lip service to Sullivan's mental state, rather than being some unhinged polemic. You're a fucking horrible human being for advocating genital mutilation, and 99% of Americans who advocate mutilating penises are fucking brainwashed morons. Circumcision can have a huge effect and huge influence on the development of a human being's psyche. It's the truth. What you are trying to do is erase American history and hide the truth. Seriously, don't be on the wrong side of history. It's like trying to delete the Holocaust article on Wikipedia saying it's some anti-Holocaust or anti-Nazi rant. That's how brainwashed you sound. Nobody is advocating genital mutilation. I'm against circumcision myself, but a lot of that section is entirely irrelevant to Silent Hill. After describing the evidence that shows Walter might have been circumcised, there is no need to include completely irrelevant information about how barbaric American doctors were. That's stuff belonging on websites dedicated to that topic, not a Silent Hill wiki. You are so deluded. Silent Hill is all about exposing the atrocities of America. That's the entire purpose of it. It's a fact and truth that circumcision damages the male psyche, and is part of a brainwashing dark ritual. And no, I won't remove it. Forced circumcision should be banned, and the American government, or Illuminati at this rate, should actually acknowledge it because it's an injustice to Americans. It also helps give backstory and understanding of male genital mutilation in America. People need to wake the fuck up and realise what's happening to humanity. So, to get back to the original topic, how do you justify twisting things like Silent Hill 4, which is rife with womb and birth imagery, as that's an important theme in the game, to be all about male genital mutilation, which is all about the dick? Listen, you're entitled to believe whatever you believe about male genital mutilation, and frankly, most issues involving morality choices, and I completely understand why you feel that it's wrong. But is it really necessary to add so much commentary fluff about it to a character's page without adequately connecting it to the character or the series? I mean, everything in Walter Sullivans' article on the issue, from the paragraph beginning, "Others believe that circumcision can hard the bond between mother and son," through the paragraph ending, "Circumcision is now a controversial and serious issue," does nothing to explicitly connect male genital mutilation to Walter Sullivan or Silent Hill. I guess that first sentence can be inferred, but nonetheless, I don't see why most of it should be there, unless you connect all the commentary directly to Walter Sullivan or Silent Hill. Fine if you want to discuss it in some detail in the article, but unless you can specifically tie it to the article's subject, a lot of it is just in the completely wrong place to discuss it. At the very least, don't inject your own personal commentary, however valid or correct it may be, on what should be an article representing actual facts about a character, known through verifiable sources rather than unverifiable read your own personal connections between things. Others believe that male genital mutilation can harm the bond between mother and son. This is super relevant to Walter. The entire game is about Walter's broken relationship with his mother. It's a fact that Americans are fucking ignorant and brainwashed about male genital mutilation, and schools do not do enough to educate women about male genital mutilation. I have an American friend who is 18 years old, and she still believed male genital mutilation was fine because no one taught her anything, and she is 18 years old. Now she knows otherwise. At this point, people are just asking for evidence, sources of all his claims about the damage circumcision can cause to a man's mental and physical well-being, which he does provide, alongside his bona fide Silent Hill credentials. If there was a top 10 list of the best Silent Hill fans in the world, I would probably be in the number 1 to 5 spot. I grew up with Silent Hill as a child, so I can see certain things in the games which other players will not. That sounds familiar. Also, by the by, Psychology Today is really not the best source, but he did have that covered by saying that actual medical journals are compromised by Satanists and the Illuminati. But, big deal, right? It's probably just some troll getting his fill, just delete all his stuff, ban him and move on, right? Well, this is where things start to get a bit complicated and messy. Also, along with me being removed as an admin by a random Anon IP user, you all realise this entire site is essentially mine, right? I am the top admin or bureaucrat of this site. I have been for years. I have 40k edits on this site and the next admin has 13k. The dude wasn't kidding either. This went on for days and nobody could take these posts down. Alex was one of the admins of the whole entire site. They couldn't get rid of him that easily. This dude's penis was holding us all hostage. So the other admins had to step in, many of whom are women. So enter stage 2 of the weird internet creep playbook. Attack the women. I'm not ruining the entire wiki. You were just biased due to societal brainwashing. Again, a lot of you don't care because you are being brainwashed. Alessa Gillespie, Enjoyable Ari, Miss Garland, Kemi Rowe, you are all female and probably don't care about boys or men having their genitals mutilated because it doesn't benefit you. It's something you can't see. A perspective from a male who regrets their genitals being mutilated at birth because of bullshit. If you had your vagina sewn shut or mutilated, and this was a female character like Claudia Wolf for example, I'm sure you would have different feelings. I'm not ruining the entire wiki, just the Silent Hill 4 and Homecoming parts of it. At this point, he's upset the lady admins. One admin stated that not only is he being incredibly misogynistic, but also pointed out that she does actually have a son, but this just caused a meteoric escalation. Do not even try to tell me I don't care considering I have a son. And don't throw in the whole, you're just female so you can't possibly understand. Yes, I am going there. Did you mutilate his genitals too? Simply giving birth to a male isn't enough perspective. There are many mothers who regret mutilating their boys' genitals. What the fuck, Alex? Really? Really? You've lost your fucking mind. Did you allow him to be mutilated? Yes or no? Wow. I get being upset he called you a toilet sponge, but he only spoke the truth. You seem to just want to ignore the fact you berated me to give you private information about my son in the vain hope it would prove I didn't know shit about this. You did bully me, you did attack me and harass me, and yet here you stay, while others who defend me are getting the boot. This is truly vile, Alex. You're overreacting. I'm sorry if I offended you for asking you if he was circumcised, but get over it already, please. At this point, everyone who's watching is now aware of how unhinged this guy is, demanding to know if a fellow admin had a son circumcised or not, and banning everyone who dare criticize him or defend the other admins. He was later asked on the forums again if he really believes that Silent Hill was created to warn us about the atrocities being conducted in America. Yes, I believe art is created to affect humans. Silent Hill is a collective effort of hundreds and hundreds of developers for humanity to wake itself up and realize the danger it's in. It was actually more like dozens of developers, Alex. Silent Hill has always been notable for being created with such a small team of people, but as a top 5 in the world mega fan, you'd know that already, right? Also, no. Where do you believe the developers received this information? From itself. Humanity can subconsciously deliver messages to itself, maybe through dreams, ideas, thoughts. Maybe we were once spiritual beings, one collective consciousness, and were divided. Maybe we once had the ability to communicate telepathically, and we lost this innate ability because we are so separated now. Separated by borders, languages, greed, money, classism, racism, pride, egos. Maybe we once had prophetic abilities to warn ourselves of danger and see the future. If we look at Silent Hill as an example, maybe this is what Alessa Gillespie had. Everything is connected, like a ripple, a butterfly effect, like a spiritual awakening maybe. I can't say for certainty. Seriously, what I find disturbing is humans are actually mocking me for trying to advocate not mutilating and torturing babies. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Why do you think this is okay? It's not. Okay, so real talk, he kind of takes the same reading that I do from Silent Hill. Almost. Sort of. If you squint real hard. He's picked up on the keywords at least. Honestly, my professional advice to you, AlexShepherd, from 2015, would be to tug on that thread a little bit more, scrutinize it a little bit further, but then turn it all inward. It's like a really, really dodgy, weak reading of the collective unconscious and what that means for humanity. It's like he's seen the Jungian elements in the games and the lessons you can take from it, but instead of seeing it as a path towards personal, spiritual enlightenment and self-actualization and finding your own peace, he instead saw it as a warning against having some of your dick cut off. But then it went viral on Twitter, on gaming publications, and even on national news sites. Even Tom Hewlett and Devin Shatsky were commenting on it. And this is where we got his anathema, AlexShepherd's doctrine to the planet. So I just realised I became kind of famous on Twitter. America needs to wake the hell up, I'm totally serious. Over 90% of Americans are brainwashed sheeple. Who is really controlling this world? Who are people working for? Do you believe in some deity, some god? Or is it all a fantasy? I am absolutely convinced there's something sick and wrong on this planet, and something sick and wrong with humanity. Do people really have absolute faith in the government? Authority? How do we know it's not the Illuminati or some satanic, dark agenda? When you really think about it, humanity are just slaves to bills, money, greed, sex, dark forces, etc. Call me crazy, I don't care. I'm one of the few human beings on this planet who has some actual fucking common sense. I refuse to let any more foreskins be mutilated and have any more babies on this planet subjected to this dark, barbaric, Satanist Illuminati agenda. I seek the truth. please, again, remember, this is an article on a fan wiki about a fictional murderer in a video game where, when you hit the spooky ghost nurses with a pipe, they make a burp sound. And now for the end game. Alex attempts to change the permissions of the other admins of the site, vying for total control. His foreskin will know the sweet taste of revenge. But by this point, enough is enough, right? The other admins, they put it to a vote. Enough, folks. I'm getting tagged left and right on Facebook by concerned members of the fanbase who are watching this wiki unravel. The behaviour I have seen on this thread is absolutely unacceptable. All further comments involving the conspiracy theories, offensive anti-American rhetoric, insults, or anything other than remarks about the article itself will be deleted. Now, since there is a differing of opinions, we will decide on the matter by a vote. Because it's easy to simply switch IP addresses, all votes must come from registered users to be considered. The question is, do you want to keep the circumcision section in the Walter Sullivans page? Vote yay or nay. I vote nay. I see no real evidence that he was circumcised, and much of the writing in this section, almost all of it in fact, steers well into personal, political and moral opinion, as well as an uncalled for amount of America bashing and conspiracy theories. This has led to many long-time readers leaving the wiki, and has even received derision from both Tom Hewlett and Jeremy Blaustein. I have not spoken to a single person who is okay with the article as it is. I feel that it must be fixed immediately before more damage can be done to the wiki's reputation. This section is absolutely not fit for a wiki, in my opinion. They also called for a vote on whether or not AlexShepherd should remain an admin on the Silent Hill wiki. In the end, the edits were taken down, and AlexShepherd was removed as an admin, and subsequently banned across all of Wikia on the grounds of abusing his admin rights. Only to return 2 years later on the Xenosaga and Shimigami Tensei wiki, again, very Jungian games, to do it all again, this time arguing in favour of bestiality and defending paedophiles, for which he was promptly banned again, and we've never seen him since. And that, my friends, is the legend of AlexShepherd. Infinitely more interesting than the Silent Hill Homecoming character from which he took the name. Truly, a hero to us all.